Imagine an order that suddenly shakes the entire command structure, making the thick shoulders of the military world tremble because of the uncertainty that surrounds this secret mission. In a move that seems out of the ordinary, Commander Taehyung, known for his assertiveness and calculation, has just delivered a mission that even the most experienced military analysts never imagined would happen. Is this a hidden strategy or a high-stakes gamble that could change the map of national power? The questions hang in the air, challenging every logical thought and inviting wild speculation from various circles. In this context, this recently confirmed news emerges as one of the most mysterious episodes in the history of modern military command. Commander Taehyung, who has always been known for being disciplined, strategic, and rarely involved in public controversies, is now caught in the middle of a fast-growing whirlpool of rumors. Some military officials and observers are beginning to assess that this mission may not be just a routine operation, but a major step that has the potential to change the landscape of national and international security. Behind the short but meaningful tone of the call, there was a message that seemed to hint that something was bigger, deeper, and perhaps more dangerous than it seemed on the surface. The mystery of this recently announced mission contains a number of elements that invite a big question mark. Many expressed concern that the move could trigger a chain reaction inside and outside the military. With details still sketchy and data that has not been fully verified, this news seems to be a battleground between reality and speculation. Leading analysts and observers have begun voicing their views through a series of emotive statements, questioning the motives behind orders seemingly beyond logical reasoning and time-tested strategies. While some consider that this step is a bold innovation in the face of new threats, others argue that there is a hidden political element that tries to take advantage of this moment of uncertainty for personal or group benefit. Through an in-depth search, it is discovered that this mission has a complex background and involves a number of strategic elements that have so far only been veiled by secrecy. In an exclusive interview with a number of sources who did not want to be named, it was revealed that the order came in response to a previously unidentified threat, both from within and outside the country. According to the informants, this force situation was not new to the military, but the methods taken this time were very unconventional. A number of secret strategies that had been maintained as state secrets began to open up, prompting questions about the readiness and toughness of defense systems that had been considered solid and reliable. In the perspective of military history, such events are rare. For decades, every major operation and mission has always been carried out with standard and highly structured procedures. However, in the context of this latest declared mission, the patterns that have been the mainstay seem to have been abandoned. Various theories began to emerge as to the motive and purpose behind this seemingly sudden order. Was there an element of internal betrayal that led to this drastic decision? Or was there a sudden new threat that forced a fundamental change in strategy? It is these questions that further cloud the atmosphere, making each passing second a moment full of dramatic potential that we have never witnessed before. This decision has generated widespread turmoil on various fronts, both within military institutions and in society. Some express concern that this unconventional mission could lead to a major failure, which not only shook public confidence in the national defense system, but also caused a rift among the command ranks. The situation is further compounded by indications that there are internal elements that may not fully support this policy, raising profound questions about the integrity of the system and the integrity of the leaders. Is this a sign that the once solid power structure is beginning to shift? Or is this just a test that will bring tremendous results in the face of a new threat? The questions seem to hang in the middle of a tense atmosphere, waiting for answers that had not yet come. Not only that, but there were also emotional questions that touched the hearts of the families of the soldiers involved. Behind the statistics and data of military strategy, personal stories full of struggle, hope, and sacrifice are tucked away. Many of them are anxious and worried about the fate of their loved ones, because this seemingly risky mission could lead to an unexpected disaster. A family member of a soldier who did not want to be named revealed. We always hear about Commander Taehyung's integrity and prudence, but this decision really makes our hearts beat faster. Is this mission worth the sacrifice we make? This question resonates among the military and the public, demanding a clear and in-depth explanation of what is really happening behind the closed doors of the military headquarters. In an attempt to understand the dynamics taking place, a number of military strategists and defense analysts began to give their views. They note that this step, although it looks bold and innovative, is not free from risks that can be fatal if not handled very carefully. According to one senior defense analyst, this decision seems like a very risky experiment. A mission like this, if failed, could cause unimaginable chaos, even disrupt national stability. The statement was then followed by comments from a number of observers who underlined that this mission may be a response to increasingly complex threats in the modern era, where enemies not only come from abroad, but can also come from hidden internal forces, and the intense conversations that took place in conference rooms and negotiating tables. High-ranking officials began to develop scenarios for the possible impact of this mission. One of the most discussed scenarios is the possibility of a series of unexpected counter-operations, which, if not properly anticipated, could result in structural damage to the national defense system. Experts question whether this bold move has taken into account all aspects of the risk, from operational accidents to the psychological impact that could disrupt the morale of the soldiers. In the midst of these concerns, a controversial narrative begins to take shape. A story about a commander who seems to throw all rational considerations into the fire of battle for the sake of achieving an unknown goal. In the shadow of increasingly confusing statements and conflicting reports, the truth about this mission remains shrouded by an increasingly thick fog of secrecy. But on the other hand, various internal sources who managed to gain access to classified information revealed that the decision to deploy this mission was not taken with purely tactical considerations, but rather was also influenced by the dynamics of political forces taking place behind the scenes. During one of the closed-door meetings, several senior officials reportedly raised their concerns about potential internal disruptions that might arise as a result of the decision. They highlighted that the military command system that had been well maintained could have been shaken by a very risky operation like this. According to one of the officials who spoke anonymously, this decision reflects a paradigm shift that we have not seen before. Although technically the mission has clear objectives, the manner in which it will be carried out raises many questions, especially about readiness and operational capabilities on the ground. This statement adds a new layer of controversy, forcing observers to question whether there are hidden forces at play behind the curtain. The increasingly heated situation has attracted attention not only from the military, but also from political figures and national security observers. In the parliament courtroom and in various strategic discussion forums, the debate about the steps taken by Commander Taehyung began to emerge as a major issue that could not be ignored. Some council members even raised critical questions about whether this decision had gone through a thorough review and how it would impact future defense budget allocations. Are we seeing a shift in priorities in national defense policy? Asked one of the MPs in a heated debate. The question reflects the unease felt not only by those within the military structure, but also by the wider public who are now beginning to question the direction of the country's defense policy. In a closed-door meeting that lasted for hours, a number of top officials reportedly discussed the possible long-term impacts of the mission, ranging from effects on regional stability to implications for international cooperation. This decision is not a coincidence, but the result of very deep analysis and careful calculations, said a top official familiar with the situation, though he declined to disclose further details. This further adds to the dramatic and mysterious feel that surrounds the entire operation. In the face of all uncertainties and challenges, leaders, observers, and the general public are expected to respond to this news wisely, without getting caught up in sheer euphoria, but also not ignoring the potential risks that exist. The discourse on innovation in defense strategy must be built on a thorough consideration, taking into account every aspect, both technical and emotional. Thus, every decision taken later will not only engrave history, but also ensure the safety and welfare of the nation in the midst of increasingly uncertain global currents.